Here we are again at the Tommy Atkins mango tree we visited earlier this year. We're right now, it's a beautiful afternoon. We're at the end of May. The Tommy Atkins fruit have been coming off the tree for the past couple of weeks, and I wanted to show you a couple of things. One of the things, a very common dooryard problem with mangoes is a disease that gets on the fruit called anthracnose. And you can see the black spotting. And actually the spots start out very, very small, and then they coalesce and they get quite a bit larger. And unfortunately, if it goes too long, it can get into the flesh of the fruit. And this can be a problem, but Tommy has pretty good resistance, so a lot of the fruit you won't have that problem with. Of course, some of it you will. And what I want to show you next, what's really nice, is remember we spoke earlier about this year we had two blooms, an early and a late bloom. Here is the results of the earlier bloom. This fruit is basically ready to pick. And how do you tell that without opening it up? Well, some of the easiest ways is first take a look at the fruit and you see here's the nose of the fruit and you see how wide and how broad that is. And if you compare that with a fruit that's not ready yet, you can see how narrow the nose of that fruit is. Another way is you look at the sides of the fruit and you see how straight this fruit here is on the sides. This one you see how broad the sides of the fruit is. Another is if you look at the shoulders of the fruit. Here the shoulders are very on a big slant, not very broad. In contrast, here's the shoulders are very, very wide. And of course, another hint is the color development of the fruit. And if you look at this and compare this fruit with this fruit, you can see this is, and actually it just came right off the tree, so it is really ready. Another symptom that it's really ready is that when you pick it, and when it's basically dry at the stem end, it means that fruit is definitely mature and will go ahead and ripen properly. We also have another way to tell is by opening up the fruit, and I'll go ahead and I'll pick one of these. I'll pick another one. And I'm going to go ahead and just open it, and what you're looking for is the color development near the seed. And normally if the fruit is immature, that color is going to be white, but if it has some yellow color, and this one's juicy as well, so we know this one's ready, but you see that bright color, although this one is showing some stem end rot, which is a problem with Tommy Atkins. It's not something we like. It doesn't usually ruin the entire fruit, but a piece of it. But you can see that color development. This fruit smells very, very nice, by the way. Tommy does have a little bit of fiber. That's one of the drawbacks of Tommy, but it has a very nice aroma. It also has very good flavor. And let me set this down. Just take a chunk off of this. And this is very nice. Now, one of the things you got to remember when you pick fruit right off the tree, well, number one, by getting the fruit as mature as possible, it's going to be as sweet as possible. It's going to be as ready to eat as possible, except for fruit that you have to let ripen off the tree, but that's not necessarily the case with mango. The fruit hasn't been refrigerated, so it's not cold. It's very, very juicy, as you can see. And what I wanted to show you about the color development on whether to tell a fruit is mature or not, that you could pick it if you wanted to, is let me find another fruit that's not as mature as what we've just taken. And let me see, well, maybe we can contrast it with something like this. Now, a couple of things. One is, you see how much liquid is coming out of the end of this fruit stem. That's a sign that that fruit is not ready to pick. That's a clear sign. But a for sure sign to tell whether a fruit could possibly ripen if you picked it is to cut it open. And I want to be careful because this fruit's hard too. I don't want to cut myself. Is to cut it open, and you can see that this flesh is white. There's no hint of yellow in that flesh. So if we picked this, it would not ripen properly. It just has, and really, mango fruit ripen from the inside out. In other words, the flesh near the seed begin to ripen first, and then it moves out towards the peel. What else?
What about that sap? If you get that all over your...
Yeah, well, the sap, in fact, the sap, as you saw coming out of this fruit, this sap can be, some people do get allergic reactions, some dermatitis from this sap. And so you want to be careful with the sap when you get it on your hands. Don't touch your arms, don't touch your face, your eyes, or anything like that. Best thing to do is to go ahead and wipe it off and then wash your hands.